I was told many years ago when I first started my career by an older orthodontist, don't wait as long as most do to start your own practice, and I echo that. Start your own practice before you think you're ready, and I guarantee you it'll work out just fine. Hello there, it's Dr. Glenn Krieger here with another episode of your 5-Minute Friday. So I want to talk about something that's been a big part of my life that I see people making a common mistake with. What is that? Risk tolerance. Now, when I was young, and if you're a younger orthodontist or anybody listening to this, I want to dispel a myth for you. The myth was, when you're young, risk everything because you have time to rebuild. Now, it makes sense in one respect, and it doesn't make any sense in the other. So where it doesn't make sense is money. When you're young, and this is a whole other topic we'll talk about sacrifice. Don't buy the fancy car. When I say young, I mean you're fresh out of residency. I don't care if you have $500,000 in debt or your mom or dad or somebody you care about paid for your education. When you get out of school, do not go buy the fancy car. Do not go buy the fancy house. Do not buy the fancy ski boat, okay? Earn those things over time. Take your money, save, and save your money. Now, Daryl Kane from Kane Waters and Associates many years ago gave a lecture that really resonated with me. And he said, when you're young, the biggest mistake people make with money is to think, oh, I could lose it all and start over again because I'm only 25 or 30 years old. And if I lose it all at 35, I'll build back up. And he made the point that until, and I paraphrase, until your interest that you're getting back equals the same amount of money that you're putting in every year, then capital preservation matters. Meaning, if you're putting in $10,000 a year into your retirement, until you're getting $10,000 a year in interest, right? And not just because you doubled 1 year, that doesn't count, right? Over a 4, 5, 6, 8-year period, if you're putting in $10,000 a year and you have $100,000 invested now and you're getting 10% interest, until that moment where the amount of interest you're getting matches the amount of money you're putting aside, capital preservation or not losing money is the most important thing you can do. You don't start chasing interest really returns until you get to that 1-to-1 ratio of what you're getting back versus what you're investing per year. So don't fall into the mistake financially of taking unnecessary risks. At all costs, maintain capital. I would argue, based upon his comment, it is better for you to put $10,000 a year under your mattress and get 0% interest for 10 years than it is to put it in something risky where you could potentially lose it all. Now, compare that to risk in life. When you get out of school, I want you to be risky, okay? I want you to sort of put it on the line. If you're an orthodontist or a dentist or somebody who's professional, odds are you're not going to fail. Statistically, actuarially speaking, you are not going to fail. Okay, you're not. How many orthodontists, dentists, physicians, attorneys, accountants do you know in your lifetime who have quote unquote failed? Now, many of them have not failed because they've chosen the extremely safe route with no risk whatsoever. And then they live 30, 40 years later and go, I wish I had done X. I'm warning you, be very, very conservative with your capital. Be very, very willing to risk for the right opportunities with your professional career early on. You have an opportunity to buy a piece of land and put a building on it? Go for it, if it's in a good area. You have the opportunity to go start your own practice? Do it, right? All too often, people sit there and they wait for the right opportunity. And there's a great comment from the guy who started the Spartan races, which you've heard me talk about before, that people say, I'll do a Spartan race when I'm in shape. And he says, no, you're doing it backwards. Put a date on the calendar to do a Spartan race and you'll be in shape for that race. And I'm telling you the same thing. Be a little more risky when it comes to what you want. So don't say, well, once I have enough money, I'm going to open my own practice. So I say, no, I'm going to open my own practice on XYZ date. This is when it's going to happen. Because it's a mistake to make these false guidelines of when you're going to do things. I know people personally who've done things so risky that'll blow your mind, and they ended up working out beautifully. I knew a family that had a contract with the U.S. Army on creating pepper mills, right? On creating pepper for the U.S. Army many years ago, when they didn't know the first thing about pepper, didn't have any pepper, and once they got the contract, learned how to get pepper and a mill and ended up packaging pepper for the U.S. Army, and ultimately they did very well financially, but they took that risk. I know of a gentleman who had a commercial laundry contract with big corporations that he was doing out of a corner laundromat. He was doing commercial laundry out of a corner laundromat because he was taking the risk. He didn't have a commercial laundry, but he knew that he had to take the risk. And I'm telling you, if you're listening to this, you have less risk in your life than that. So I was told many years ago when I first started my career by an older orthodontist, don't wait as long as most do to start your own practice. And I echo that. Start your own practice before you think you're ready, and I guarantee you it'll work out just fine. So again, the takeaway message from all of this today is wherever you are in life, value risk in certain situations. Now, again, financially, you've got a financial advisor, or you better have a financial advisor to help you guide you. And in life, I mean, you've got lots of people you can talk to, but when someone gives you advice, you have to ask them, how risk averse are you? What have they done in their life? Right? So for me, yeah, sure, you'd say Glenn is pretty non-risk averse, right? He goes back to ortho at age 44 with 3 kids and willing to go through his retirement account on that bet. I'm a little more risk tolerant than you might be. But I will tell you, speak to 100 orthodontists or clinicians who've been around the block, and they will tell you, bet on yourself. That's the number one key here. Bet on yourself and take risks on yourself, because it will never be a better investment. And don't wait to say, that thing I want to do is going to take some time or money. I'm not going to invest in it. If it involves you and your practice, make that investment as early as you can. The Orthopreneurs RD group that we have has an investment. The biggest mistake I hear from people that I just want to shake them and say, don't be an idiot, is they go, I'm only out of school 2 or 3 years, or I'm just getting out of school. I want to wait until I have more money so I can invest in that kind of group. And I go, are you out of your mind? Like, there's no sure, quicker way to get there than a group of your peers who are vested in you. Like, the money you're going to spend on a couple of cases a year is going to come back to you 30-fold. But no, I'm just kind of scared. My accountant says I don't have the money right now. Yeah, because your accountant is the least risk-tolerant human being you'll ever meet. So I'm just saying, invest in yourself, whatever that means, and I guarantee you the results will be there for you, okay? If you need anything, reach out to me. I'm always here for you. Much love to each and every one of you, and wishing you a wonderful day.